Welcome to Pivot Parenting, where we help parents of teens overcome regret and disappointment to find peace and connection in every situation. I'm Heather Frazier, your parenting expert. Journey with me to discover effective parenting tips, improve family relationships, and build a brighter future for your kids. Buckle up, things are about to get better. Hello there, my friend. Today's topic is very near and dear to my heart because it is something that I literally see in every single person that I coach, including myself. This is part of our human nature that I don't think we can ever really get rid of, but we can be mindful of, learn to recognize quickly, and significantly reduce for really better outcomes for ourselves and our children. And it's come to mind a lot lately because of the different interactions that I've had in my life. And I want to articulate it in a way that I hope is helpful for you. And be sure to stick around to the very end because I'm going to drop the biggest unexpected instant turnaround that you can try. It's definitely the one thing that yields the highest likelihood of your teen opening up and you finding peace of mind. So you definitely don't want to miss that. But I have specific bullet points. And the first one is how tying your self worth looks in real time so that you can recognize it and see how we all do this. I promise I do not want you to feel bad about yourself in this episode. This is very human nature, and we cannot fix what we cannot see. And so it is with the most amount of love and respect that I want you to consider what I'm teaching you. The easiest real-time way to diagnose how often we attach our self-worth to our child's outcome or choices is when parents are all talking. It's date night, or we're at church, or we're with our girlfriends. And typically one parent, always seems to brag up their kid. Their kid is always in the forefront of the discussion, their athletics, getting asked to the dance, and how many friends they have, academic achievements. It's always a source of pride, and it kind of feels boastful. Now, I'm all for talking up your kids. Teenagers, they are amazing. But I think that we all have these people in our life that it's almost like they have to share how awesome their kid is because that's sort of how they identify. As this parent brags, another parent just sits and listens because maybe somebody asks about how their kid is doing and they say fine, or they shrug and say, about the same. They withhold information because their kid isn't excelling. They're struggling and they don't want to be judged. They want to hide their so-called failings. Now, this is definitely not the same as respecting privacy, which can also keep parents tight-lipped. Just like on the flip side, a parent who says how awesome their kid is, that's facts. Their kid is awesome. But so is the kid who is struggling. Equally awesome. But when a parent has tied their teen's failure to their prowess as parenting, they might get upset when they see other teens hitting milestones that their teen might not or has not. Examples could be high school graduation, dating, going on a mission, going to college, other social norms that we measure success by. They take their kids' choices personally, either as a positive reflection on a job well done or shame-inducing guilt as failing to get their kids to live properly. We parents, we think that if we do a good enough job, we'll get the kid we want. It's like a vending machine. I even, in my book, How I Fixed My Teen, I did some drawings for every chapter. I'm a fantastic artist. And I did this vending machine. And it's like you put in your time, right? Like I'm going to put in 80 hours a week or every single second of every single day into the vending machine of parenting. And then I press the button of all the different things that I want, and I should get that because I paid the right amount. We've tied our abilities to parent to their outcomes if this is how we're viewing the situation. The problem is, kids have agency, and we can be the very best or the very worst of parents, and they still get to decide who they want to be. Yes, we should definitely educate, love, teach, protect, provide, all those things, but not as payment to get what we want out of them. That's objectifying our teen. I paid the price for something that I want, so give it to me. No. They're a human with their own desires, with their own ideas. Oftentimes, we trick ourselves and we think we're not attached until we get to the point where results should or are pouring in. Now, parents, I'm speaking to the one person listening to this podcast thinking I'm doing a great job, and they're smiling because their kid is playing along and you feel happy and fulfilled. Maybe you're like, yes, I taught my kids the gospel of Jesus Christ so well that they love church, and I crushed it. I'm also talking to the parent who is reeling, listening right now because their kid is at the benchmark and they're not hitting it. Perhaps they have left church. Maybe they told you that they're not going to the family alma mater for college. On either end of this spectrum, whether your kid is making you feel amazing or like a failure, there is attachment. And I invite you to recognize and release that attachment because it will eventually not cause goodness in your life. And at the very least, it is disabling to both of you. You are of infinite worth, my friend. As a mother, a father, and whether or not your child is choosing to embrace values and principles that you have taught them or not, both their value and your value is untouched by your parenting decisions and by their life decisions. I promise. Another way that I see parents who are subconsciously tying attachment to their child is in the way that they spend their time. When parents are trying to do so many things, have their kids in everything, there is an attachment to a lie that our value or our kids' value is tied up in that external thing, liking church, going to college. This can typically be the things that you're overscheduling yourself with. Now, I get if you have several kids and they don't have licenses or you only have one car and you're really busy and you feel overscheduled and every kid only gets to pick one thing. That's not what I'm talking about. Overwhelm from trying to do everything is a sign that there's attachment. Nobody who is completely content with their life and family is cramming their schedule so full that they drive themselves into the ground. The parent who is not doing this is only taking things on that fill their family with goodness and nothing less. They say yes when they want to say yes, when it's a wise decision to say yes. They say no if they're not attached to people liking or approving of them. Now, I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but I have, and it fits here. Your example is the primary teacher your kids absorb. Model a life for them that you'd actually want for another human to have, especially your kid. What I'm saying here is fill your day with things that fill your family with goodness and say no to the things that do not. Especially if they're the things that will disappoint other people. I'm sorry, Mom, we can't come this weekend because my kids need us to be at home. I'm sorry, I can't be on the PTA because I'm actually helping my specific child with their needs right now that are calling for my attention. It is okay to disappoint and upset people when it is choosing yourself and your children first. That's the best thing that you can do, and it's okay if people don't like it. So, how does tying your self worth to your teen's behavior harm both you and your child? Well, first and foremost, this perpetuates the socially normal lie that our value is found and gained outside of us, in our accomplishments, the success of our kids or career, beauty, desirability, intelligence, amount of power and influence over others, money, status. The whole world buys into this lie pretty much. This is an age old lie that perpetuates harm in the form of self loathing, which perpetuates all kinds of messy, nasty stuff: abusive relationships, racism, sexism, jealousy, hatred, and every other practice where we rank each other in order of significance because we are trying to figure out how significant and important and valuable we are. So, who's above us and who's below us? The truth is that we are all divine and of infinite worth. Period. Period. The old person who has to have their diaper changed, the infant who is newly born and can do nothing for themselves, the handicapped, the marginalized, the extraordinarily talented and gifted, the beautiful and the plain. We are all of infinite value. There is no rank based off of how fabulous we are or not fabulous. For parents, how this plays out is when we need our children to prove that we're a good parent. And this can sound like, wow, have you seen what Nancy's kid is doing? He's in rehab. She really messed him up. That's what I mean. We don't need our kid to prove we're a good parent. This wanting to feel like a good parent is at the bottom of every issue that I have ever coached on, again, including my own. I will say, why does it bother you that your teen is doing this? Because they're ruining their life. They're going to be miserable. Why is that a problem? Because I love them and I want them to be happy. What do you get if they're happy? I then get to be happy because I know that I've succeeded because they have succeeded. Do you see how that plays out? Now, I'm not saying that we should be fine with our kid being in rehab or doing other really harmful things. We can be sad and know that we're doing our best, that we're a good parent, just as good a parent as the kid who their kid is walking in graduation while ours is giving birth or at the rehab center or doing whatever. So many parents try to coerce, convince, control their kids into living the life that they have labeled as successful. We need to check off the boxes. First, get good grades. Second, date only really nice people and have nice friends. Third, volunteer, maybe have a job or do a sport. Fourth, graduate from high school. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying these are bad things. These are great things. But we can't need them in order to feel like everything is going to be okay, like we're okay. Because when we do this, we're ruining our child's sense of self. We also groom them to feel that their role is to please others, making them an easy target for abusive relationships. And this kills authenticity in that parent's connection with their kid. Typically, if we really try to manhandle our child into conformity, there's one of three things that will happen. They will conform to please us and abandon their intuition, dreams, and self. This is grooming them for somebody else who needs them to please them. This is like straight up out of Abusive Partners Handbook. Number two, they outwardly rebel to prove to you that they won't be your puppet. Or number three, they're duplicitous. They lie to you while they do as they please. None of these are good for us or them, because all while learning that they, our child, is not good enough and creating thoughts and beliefs around themselves that will harm them long term. For parents, the harm here is that our growth is stunted. When it's our teenagers' problem to make us feel like we're good parents, we can't see our strengths and especially not our weaknesses clearly or to strive for more within ourselves. It's all them, which is where we're focusing. And we're completely missing the whole point of parenting, which, in my humble opinion, is to raise and elevate ourselves just as much, if not more, than our child.
Hi there. I just want to pause and let you know if you are struggling to make sense of your teen's behaviors, emotions are running wild, and you're looking to turn things around to have the family you dreamed of while rocking them to sleep, I would love to talk to you. I want to give you a special, powerful gift. 30 minutes with me, my friend. You'll walk away with more confidence, clarity, and understanding of what the issue is and your next best step in resolving any situation you bring to me. It's completely free. I love families and want to help yours be wildly happy and successful. Book this call by visiting my website, heatherfraser.com. Remember, Fraser is spelled with a Z-I in the middle. And don't worry, the link is also in the show notes. I look forward to meeting and helping you.
All right, let's talk about practical steps so that you can emotionally detach from your teen's choices and not lose the connection with them. I feel like parents need to be white knuckled in order to do their best, but usually the opposite is true, my friend. Emotional detachment is a short answer and a more detailed set of actions. The short answer is you detach yourself by loving yourself as you are right now, flaws and all, and then loving your teen as is as well. This is actually the exact process, all these little steps that I teach in my book, How I Fix My Teen. And I also teach these 8 steps to my clients as they move through their 4 months coaching with me. Like I said in the beginning, this is not something that we as humans will ever stop doing 100%. We will always want to attach our value to something outside of us because that is the way society is built, because that is the way our human brain comes originally hardwired. It's not something that we can stop doing 100%, like becoming a vegan or stopping drinking or saving 15% of our income or anything else that we might have as goals that is so cut and dry, yes or no, black and white. Our human brain is always going to want to look around, partly because that's how we're wired and partly that because that's how society is set up. Right? We go to the grocery store and there are things about how we can improve ourselves on the magazine covers in front of us. And we're scrolling social media and it tells us how we need this or that in order to be happy. The secret to turning the volume down on this is to weaken the emotional muscle pulling us towards looking around instead of looking inward by not using it as much or as long once we catch on to what we're doing. And then strengthening the counter muscle, which is to accept and love right now, flaws and all, ourself, our kid, our spouse, our enemy. This is done by looking to internal things for validation. It's by stopping judging others, like our teens and their friends, and to lead with love and acceptance. This is purely awareness plus practice. We can journal, identifying specific ways that you do this. Is it in conversations? Is it in time management, appearance, education? And being onto yourself in the most loving way possible. Again, my friend, we all do this. And so we want to be very gentle with ourselves. And this is ultimately how to feel like a successful parent because now you are looking inward. Another crazy thing that society does is they like to play musical chairs on what is trending outward for good parenting. There are so many wild, different parenting trends that we're told to do this or do this. And that makes you a good parent. But guess what? As soon as we have tried to enact whatever parenting technique is trending, then it switches and there's a different parenting technique. And the parents who were doing that were all wrong and they harmed their child. None of that. When you can turn inward to know intuitively that you are loving your child as best as possible, then you will feel like a successful parent, no matter what your teen is doing. By thus evolving ourselves, we are automatically going to be more successful because we don't need anything from our kid to feel good. We create it from within, which is actually where it really does come from, which just feels good, which makes it easier for us to love, to talk to our kid, especially when it's hard, to teach them and to have fun. Fun is so important in raising our kids, which draws our kids into us so that we can mentor them even more and love them even more because we know them even better and they know us. And it's a beautiful cyclic building circle that we want to be in instead of the downward spiral of needing to validate through them. We know that we're here when we're not parenting or taking actions to get our kids to turn out the way that we want so that we can feel successful. If we just feel successful 9 times out of 10, regardless, because we know that we're showing up, we're loving, we're doing our best, we're apologizing, we are listening to podcasts and books that help us improve, then we're good. The secret is loving parenting and loving your kid as they choose to be. We fall in love with the act of parenting, of helping another human discover themselves. That's it. We don't love their future that we've pictured for them, or even that they have told us they want. For example, if your daughter said to you for years that she wants to be a doctor, and now she's a senior in high school and failing and can't function, and you're so upset because that dream of medical school is pretty much gone. College is questionable. You're grasping to get her to even graduate, and you're going crazy. She said she wanted this dream of being a doctor, but you're attached also to that dream, and that attachment is ruining your peace of mind and damaging your relationship with said daughter because you're going after your kid in the wrong way. She needs support. There's something going on with her, but not the kind parents do when they need the future that they have built up in their minds. That's less effective, potentially harmful support that we can give our kids. These are the kind of situations where we need the skill set to maintain emotional balance because our kid is struggling. And so it's hard to find peace of mind and show up for our kid in a calm, loving way. If we could all just have the expectation that life is 50-50, 50% of the time awesome, 50% of the time really hard, and expect to have lots of feelings at once. In this situation, this mom could feel gratitude, loss, love, and sadness. Gratitude that her daughter hasn't harmed herself, that she's part of their family. Gratitude that she has health in various ways. Loss at the dream, the expectation. Love for her daughter, sadness that she's struggling. We need to get comfortable with emotions, and balance will always be available to us when we do so. We can do this by zooming out to the big picture. Truth is, we don't know the future, and most of us will agree that our hardest times are the ones that taught us the most. Nothing lasts forever. We can get support, and we can always choose love. Balance means embracing what we dislike and loving it as best we can, and embracing what we love and easily loving that. This is the most powerful way to approach parenting and ourselves. If you need help with this, again, I offer a free 30-minute consult. We can go over this. Also, my book articulates this really well. You can buy it on my website. I'll send you a signed copy. You can buy it on Amazon, Walmart, Barnes& and Noble, any of those places. All right, to recap, my friend, please remember, where you're giving away your emotional power, there is attachment. If you need them to have accomplishments, if there's fear of failure, this again can be when kids are at a benchmark point of life, like missions, marriage, college, high school graduation, where we want to prove ourselves that we've done a good job through our kids achieving something. Essentially, when loving is hard, there's some attachment there. Or if it's difficult to let go of goals because of what we're making them mean, this can look like we've detached from the meaning. But if we or our child drops a goal because of the fear of failure, maybe they expect to fail, like your kid won't even try out for a team because they're afraid they'll fail, then there's definitely also attachment there. We want to go big. We want to love ourselves and our kid all the same. That is true detachment and thus freedom to unconditionally love, which is our most powerful position and the best skill that we can teach our children. So, here's the most juicy tidbit I have for you to learn and to try out if you can see yourself doing any of these behaviors. Admit all of your unhealthy and unhelpful attachments and behaviors to ourselves, to our kid, to our spouse, maybe not on Facebook. Yes, I did that. Yes, your perspective of that event is valid. I totally bombed it. We want to own what is true. We don't want to be a scapegoat, but we want to own it all. Don't defend, don't justify, don't diminish or blame someone or something for your behaviors. We just want to own it all. Yeah, I lost my cool. Maybe a lot. Yeah, I freaked out when I found out. Yes, I can see the reason why you don't talk to me or trust me. I'm sorry. I'm trying. Please be patient with me. I want to change to better earn your confidence when and if you choose to bestow it. I know I have no right to know everything in your life. I know you're independent from me as a human being. These are really powerful things that we can say to our teen, and I just threw them out as examples. I'm sure that you will find your own specific statement that resonates best with you and your family. But this is the one thing that most readily turns people towards those who have hurt them. It's what builds trust when it's been broken, which we all do to our kids and they do to us. All humans do it to each other. This, my friend, means that you have to be okay with losing your relationship with your kid, especially the older they are, right? A 13-year-old needs us a lot more than a 23-year-old. Seeing and owning it all puts you emotionally naked to be rejected, and they might. And you've got to make peace with that fact. They might. Because then, if you own all of your business, if they choose you to stay in their life, they're really choosing you. And if you can't own all of the ways that you're attached to their life, their outcome, their decisions, they aren't really choosing you because you aren't really giving them an opportunity to. And I have to say that even if your child does not choose you, if you say, "You're right, I was unkind. You're right, that was wrong of me to do that," and they are angry and they choose to not talk to you, I promise that's still okay. You can evolve yourself emotionally. You can offer for them to find emotional support, therapy coaches to heal harm that has happened by you needing them to have a certain life. And they may or may not come around. I have found that children always want a relationship with their parent. And when they do not, that is because of massive abuse and other really bad things going on. If you own your mistakes and apologize, they might be angry for a time, but 9 times out of 10, they are going to come back to you and you will have an even better relationship. One that is authentic, one that is founded in honesty, that creates goodness and love and connection and is expanding, and that supports emotional maturity and intelligence, which is the act of detaching your self worth from everything because it is already there, whole, wonderful, and perfect. If you need help finding this, my friend, I have got you. Please, please, please reach out. Until then, we will talk to you next week.